Welcome and thank you for checking in. I'm Amanda and I'm so glad you are here. Tonight we gather under the full moon eclipse, a moon that moves through the shadow of the earth. For a time, something familiar changes. The light becomes obscured, the moon darkens, and yet nothing has actually been lost. The moon is still there, the light is still there, and perhaps there is something in that for us to remember. Because there are times in our own lives when we move through shadow, times when things feel heavier, when emotions rise more easily, when the world feels louder, when relationships, identities, dreams, or ways of living that once felt familiar no longer seem to fit. You may have felt some of this recently. Perhaps you've been tired, restless, emotional, disconnected. Perhaps your dreams have become stronger lately. Perhaps old memories have surfaced. Maybe certain patterns have become impossible to ignore. Or maybe there is something just quietly knowing within you that something is changing. You don't have to decide what any of it means tonight. You do not have to figure out what comes next. For these next few moments, you are simply being invited to become still enough to listen. Gently allow your eyes to close. Take a slow, deep breath in and release. Again, breathing in and letting go. Allow your shoulders to soften, your jaw to relax, softening the muscles around the eyes. Let your body become heavy beneath you. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing you need to accomplish, nothing to control or solve. Just this moment. Just this breath. Just this awareness. And as you settle more deeply into yourself, imagine the full moon above you. Bright, ancient, silent, moving slowly into the shadow. There is no resistance in the moon. It does not fight the darkness of the eclipse. It does not ask how long the shadow will last. It simply continues along its path. And perhaps tonight you can do the same. Allow yourself to notice what has been weighing heavily upon you. without analyzing it, without fixing it. Simply notice what feels complete. What are you carrying because it is familiar, rather than because it belongs to you? What identity are you ready to loosen? What fear have you been carrying? What expectation? What resentment? What relationship to the past or need for control? What story about yourself have you repeated for so long that you forgot it was only a story? You do not have to force an answer. Just listen. Your deeper self may speak differently than the thinking mind. It may come through an image, a feeling, a memory, a dream, a symbol, a sudden knowing, or simply silence. Allow whatever arises to arise, and whatever does not need to. Take another slow breath and imagine with every exhale your grip begins to soften. You do not have to push anything away. You simply stop holding it so tightly. I release what has completed its purpose. Breathe. I release what no longer needs to be carried. Breathe. I forgive myself for what I did not know. I forgive the past for being the past. And I release the need to know exactly what happens next. And now, imagine yourself standing beneath the eclipsed moon. The world around you is quiet. The familiar light has temporarily disappeared into the shadow. But you are not afraid because you understand. The shadow does not destroy the light. it reveals your relationship to it. And perhaps the darker seasons of your own life have done something similar. They have shown you where you were attached, where you were afraid, where you were trying to control and had forgotten yourself. And perhaps some of what you once called losing was actually releasing. Some endings are openings. Some confusion is transition. Some loneliness allows space. Some darkness asks us to look inward. And some of what fell away was simply making room. Take a deep breath and feel the space inside you. You do not need to fill it. This is the space between chapters, the space between who you have been and what has not yet fully revealed itself. Stay here. You are allowed to not know. Allowed to be between worlds. You're allowed to rest before the next beginning. Now quietly ask yourself, what is ready to be released? Pause. What is life trying to show me? Breathe. What keeps appearing in my dreams, patterns, relationships, or synchronicities around me? Pause. And finally, what would become possible if I stopped trying to control what comes next? Allow the questions to remain open. Simply plant these thoughts somewhere deeper in the mind. Because awareness continues even when the unconscious mind becomes quiet. Sometimes understanding arrives later, in a dream, a conversation, a coincidence, or a moment of silence. Now, imagine the shadow of the moon beginning to move slowly, almost imperceptibly. Light begins to return, not because the moon fought its way back to the light. It simply trusts and continued moving. Remember this. You do not have to force your next chapter. You can participate in life, make choices, follow what feels true, and still release the demand to know and control what will unfold. There is a difference between movement and control. You can move forward without knowing the entire path. You can trust without having all of the answers. You can release without knowing what will replace what has been released. And you can enter a new chapter without carrying every piece of the old one with you. So tonight, allow something to end. Let something soften. Let something be forgiven. Let something finally become complete. And make space for September, for another season, for another version of your life, for whatever is waiting to emerge through you. Repeat quietly within. I release what is complete. I honor what the past has taught me. I welcome the wisdom of my dreams and my deeper self. I notice what life is showing me. I release my need to control the path. I trust what is unfolding. I am willing to enter the unknown. I am willing to make space for what comes next. And most importantly, I remember that even in the shadow, the light remains. Take one final deep breath. Feel your body. Feel the ground. Feel yourself here, present, aware, alive. You do not need to leave this meditation with all the answers. Perhaps the purpose was never to find them. Perhaps it was simply to quiet the mind enough to hear yourself again. Thank you so much for checking in with yourself tonight. As you move through this eclipse and into the season ahead, pay attention to your dreams, to the patterns that repeat, to the symbols that catch your attention, to the synchronicities that make you stop for a moment. But most importantly, pay attention to what arises within you. Not everything needs to be interpreted. Sometimes awareness is enough. Allow what is finished to finish. Allow what is leaving to leave. And allow what has not arrived yet to remain unknown. There is a deeper wisdom in the space between these chapters. There is transformation in releasing what no longer belongs. And there is light, even when, for a little while, you cannot see it. I'm Amanda, and I'm so honored to be a part of this path walking alongside you. Thank you so much for checking in. Namaste.